Speaking of West Virginia and head football coaches, Dana Holgorsen is the man in charge in Morgantown. He joined us on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline yesterday. Items discussed everything from his ties to BYU coaching alumni, why he understands BYU's offensive difficulties right now better than most, and why he likes the idea of BYU as a member of the Big 12. Coach, it's not every day we get to speak with the pride of Mount Pleasant High School in Iowa. It's great to have you with us.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on.
How much does a coach really know about his team after 2 games into a college football season?
Well, I think you know a good bit. You spend so much time getting this thing going, starting back in January of the beginning of the year. You spend a lot of time with them in the off season. You're constantly adding pieces to the puzzle. It's 15 spring practices all summer, 29 fall practices. You're ready to play a game to see what you really have, and then you may be surprised with what you see after the first game, but make some adjustments and some corrections for the second game. I think you got a pretty good idea who you are.
Coach, going back into your history, you were on the same coaching staff as Robert and I there at Texas Tech. Of course, Mike Leach, a graduate and kind of Lavelle Edwards' disciple, if you will. But what are the connections to BYU or BYU guys in your past?
Well, it goes back prior to Coach Leach, honestly. Hal Mummy used to come out to Provo quite a bit. I made a couple of trips out there, one with Hal, one with Mike Leach, but he was always out there when he had ties. He was at UTEP, and UTEP and BYU had 3 or 4 games there that were one-sided, to say the least, BYU's favor. But Hal really liked the passing game, so he started going out there and learning all the passing game. He high school coach in Texas, and then he got the job at Iowa Wesleyan College and brought this passing game with him. And that's when I was playing. So got to play in a similar style offense than that BYU was doing back in the day, and then went on and coached with them at Valdosta State. And later I was with Mike Leach at Texas Tech for 8 years.
Dana Holgorsen, West Virginia head football coach, with us on BYU Sports Nation. The BYU offense has been much discussed by several football coaches for what it has done in the past. High scoring, tons of passing, kind of setting new trends within college football. This year, the offense has struggled, averaging 17 points a game. So what do you think about the BYU offense right now, knowing what you know, what the Cougars have done in the past, but seeing the struggles that they're dealing with right now?
Well, it always takes time to get things going. I know it, with the coaching change and Coach Satake coming in there is just going to put his own stamp on what he feels like he needs to do on offense in order for his team to be successful. I did much of the same very thing with here at West Virginia and trying to change what we did a little bit to help our defense. So I know he's, Coach Satake is the defensive guy, and he's going to do what he feels like he needs to do on the offensive side of the ball in order for BYU to have success. I think defensively BYU is playing outstanding. It takes a little bit longer offensively to get that thing going. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to worry about, obviously what we do and what we got to do to be successful. I do sympathize with them, though. It was a little bit slow start at the beginning when I first got at West Virginia, and over the course of time we got much better.
Would you rather play a team coming off a win or a loss?
Yeah, it's a good question, and coaches go back and forth on that all the time. I mean, if you're winning, you have more confidence. If you're losing, you have more motivation. So I don't think there's a correct answer with that. The same could be said for, would you rather have a bye week and then play, or would you rather not have a bye week and play it? Sometimes the bye week you lose momentum, you lose the speed of the game. Sometimes having a couple of hard games in a row gets you a little bit wore out, and you're not as refreshed as you want to be. So, both are good discussions that I'm sure you guys have a great time discussing on the air. I don't know if there's a right answer, to be honest with you.
Dana Holgorsen, head football coach at West Virginia, with us on BYU Sports Nation. You mentioned the defense and the success that they have had for BYU on that side of the ball. What have you noticed on film about BYU's defense that has impressed you?
Well, they're big, they're aggressive, they're sound in what they do. They play their tail off. It's impressive to watch. Going against three really good opponents, holding them basically to about 14 points a game. That's really impressive. That's something that's as good as I've seen in quite some time. So I know they're very well coached. Coach Satake's reputation speaks for itself. I know he's been an outstanding defensive guy for quite some time. Has coached really good defensive football, and he's doing the same thing at BYU now.
Coach, you've beaten Missouri, Youngstown State, and then had the bye week. What have you learned about your team through the first couple of weeks of the season?
I think we like to play. I think the guys are excited and energetic about getting out there and practicing every day. Believe it or not, I've had some teams where they're not as fired up about actually practicing and playing, but I think this group got a lot of seniors, a lot of veterans, a lot of guys that really like playing the game, and we got to keep getting better on all three sides of the ball. I mean, we obviously play in the Big 12 and got lots and lots of good teams ahead of us, so we're going to have to continue to improve. This team likes to go out there and do that. So looking forward to a quality opponent in BYU, and really just more than anything, looking forward to getting back out there and playing on Saturday.
What do you look forward to most when it comes to playing a game in a neutral site NFL stadium?
Oh, I think the kids like it. I think they like getting, obviously their main goal is to always, each and every one of them, whether they tell you or not, their goal is to try to go play in the NFL. So I think this gives them a little bit of a taste for it. I think it's fantastic for our fan base. We try to do these neutral site games as much as we can. We're back in D.C. a year from now playing Virginia Tech. We're in Charlotte 2 years from now playing Tennessee. We're going to be in Atlanta playing Florida State here on the horizon as well. So we like these neutral site games. I think the fan base really gets excited about it. We're looking forward to a good crowd here on Saturday.
With a guy like Taysom Hill, who's a little older, is coming off 3 season-ending injuries, in the past couple of years, do you defend him based on reputation or just what you see this year?
Well, I think you got to look at his whole body of work. Just an unbelievable competitor. I've been watching Taysom play for I guess it's 5 years now. I mean, he's been around for a while. He's taken a ton of snaps. We've had some crossover games with him to where we've been watching him on offense attack some of these defenses over the last couple of years with the University of Texas and Oklahoma and some of these guys. So it's been fun to watch him. He's a fierce competitor. He's played a lot of ball. He makes a lot of plays, and regardless of what you saw a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever, you got to take his whole body of work. He's a competitive kid. He's had a lot of success, and he's just a wonderful football player.
Coach Dana Holgorsen of West Virginia with us on BYUSN. Coach, speaking of the Big 12, and you've been very outspoken on things in that arena, why would you like BYU to fit into the Big 12? What would they bring to the conference potentially?
Well, the main reason is my boss is a BYU grad, Gordon.
Good old Gordon.
Well, he's a Mormon anyway, so he's been in my ear a little bit, as far as that. I tell you, national brand. BYU's got a national brand, and anytime you can add somebody to the Big 12 that has a national brand, I think that's obviously important. I was very outspoken with wanting to have a championship game, and I'm glad that we changed that, and we're going to start having a championship game a year from now. With that, I thought, I've been saying for the last few years as well, the Commissioner Bowlesby made the mistake to tell us to be vocal with what our opinions are. So I think we need to add a couple of teams. I think we need to have 2 different divisions, and we need to have that championship game on Championship Saturday. That's my stance, and hopefully it happens here soon.
Do you have a preference on timing? Do you want this to be for next season, as soon as next season?
Yeah, I do. Just to get it settled and be done with it. I mean, you guys talk about it a lot. Trust me, I get asked about it about every interview I go into. So I'd like to see some closure on it. The championship game's the start. They don't care what I think as far as what teams get added. I know Gordon is in charge of the expansion, and he's made his opinions known. But I do think it's going to happen here pretty quick.
Coach, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you for humoring us with more Big 12 conversation. I'm sure that you have discussed it ad nauseum, but we look forward to the game this Saturday, and I'll see you in Washington, D.C.
All right, sounds good. Safe travels.
Dana Holgorsen on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.